The V3 R line. Is it better? Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to a video, and today we're going to be doing a review on the Tattu R line version 3, in specific the 1300 mAh 6S, as you can see here, and I have a couple other batteries we're going to be discussing today. And sort of like my last Foxier video with the Predator 4 review, I'm going to try and keep this a little bit shorter and show some footage up in the top right as I'm talking about the batteries to not drag everything on. And just quick note, I am sponsored by Tattu. However, as you can see, I have like 6 other brands here, so I still definitely do try all of the batteries. And if you've been following my channel for some time, hopefully you know that I'm not going to try to waste your money, and I'm going to give you my honest opinions on things. So right off the bat, let's actually compare the V3 to the, I guess this is the V1 they call it. This is their old 6S 1300. You can see I beat this thing up quite a bit. If you just compare them side to side, the old one is a decent bit bigger and a tiny bit skinnier and just about the same length here. But overall, I definitely do like this form factor a little bit better. It hugs the quad closer underneath and just keeps the center of gravity a little bit tighter. And it's easier to strap on versus these things. Sometimes you have to turn them on their side to get them flat enough. Otherwise, there's just a lot of weight hanging really low. So speaking of weight, let's go ahead and weigh, first of all, let's weigh the V3 R line here. So it weighs about 207.6 grams, so very light for a 1300 6S. The old Tattu 1300 weighs about 215, so about 7 or 8 grams heavier. This is a TBS 1300 6S. This thing is very heavy, 242 grams. This is the Pulse 1250 6S 75C. Weigh that there, 208 grams. So this is actually a really, really light comparable pack. However, it does use the thinner gauge wire there. Going to the Pyrodrone 1250 mAh 6S pack. Weighs about 215, so about the same as the older Tattu. And then the 237. This is actually the iFlight Full Send 1150. This is actually a prototype battery, but it's actually a 1300. They mislabeled it. And then I have this guy here. This is the China Hobby Line 1300. It's actually a 4S pack. The only reason I have this in here is sort of a placeholder because I did also have the China Hobby Line 1250 6S, the orange mini stars. I bought 3 of them right when they came out, and they just all died and got destroyed so quickly. So I haven't really had that great of an experience with China Hobby Line in terms of overall durability. All these other packs have metal plates on the end. The China Hobby Line have sort of a plastic, but for me they didn't hold up that well, as well as the heat shrink itself. The stuff is just so crappy on the China Hobby Lines. Half the times you'll see pictures of people, they strap the battery to the quad, they crash, the battery inside will eject and the heat shrink will still be strapped to the quad. So just not the best, but they definitely are very high value batteries. However, the 1250 6S is like $28 or $31, so it's almost in the exact same price range as all these other packs. So in terms of their 6S offerings, they aren't really that much cheaper compared to all the other ones, but their 4S, they have very, very competitive prices. Oh, and one last thing, I actually have this as well, just for fun. This is an R-Line 1050 6S. Just to put this on here to get a weight, it's about 170 grams. So if you're building a 2205 setup, very light. This is a very nice pack. You can see I have about 4 cycles on it. Very, very strong puller. However, just for my setups, it's a little bit too low of capacity. Speaking of my setup, here we have one of my Nexuses here. My own custom frame from Tiny's LEDs. You can see I have the brand new pod on it with red, and these motors are the T-Motor F60 version 3 Pro. You can see these red ones, 1750 kV. And normally I run the Brother Hobby 2207 1750 kV, but I'm just putting these on to test. However, noting these actually test closer to 1840 kV, so they are very, very powerful. This is just a setup I run on that. Pulls somewhere around 90 amps, I think. So now that we've gone over all the weights and just that little intro there, we can start talking about the batteries again. I was originally sent these 2 from Tattu to test. These things have about 10 cycles on them, and I was just immediately impressed and went ahead and bought these other 3 that you see here. So now I have 5 of them. And just showing you some of this footage here, this is, sorry for the really low quality, I actually had to pull this from my Instagram because somehow I lost the footage, but this was around, this is in New York, around a half-mile horse track. Hopefully you can see the voltage is sagging down. This is from a 4.15 volt charge. This is full throttle, 100% half mile. it's sagging down to about 3.4 volts per cell, and that may seem pretty low, but keep in mind these setups pull a lot of current, and it was averaging 106 miles an hour for 17 seconds, which is quite a long time to keep that speed. It probably punched near 120. But these other batteries I've used, I think I also used the TBS and the Pyrodrone on the exact same track, and I do not have footage. Once again, sorry, I don't know where it went, but you're gonna have to trust me. These things were sagging down to about 2.8 volts per cell, and this thing only has about 10 cycles on it as well. You can say I've only marked 5, but I think there's only 10. It is an older battery, but it hasn't had that many cycles on it. So I was just extremely impressed with how well the V3 just held its voltage overall. And I have been racing these for a couple events so far, probably about 10-15 cycles on my older ones. And they've just really, they just pulled like no other pack all the way to the very end. And now I know fresh batteries always perform better, and I'm really trying not to be biased. If you fly them, or if you've seen some of my line of sight videos, you can audibly hear the higher RPMs, and a lot of top pilots are actually picking these up because they've noticed the same thing as well. If you look around, there's I don't think I've seen a bad opinion of this yet. It's just such a high pulling pack. Now, in terms of capacity, I haven't done too much testing. However, if I had to guess, I would say this pack is closer to a 1350 and this is closer to an actual 1250. Just looking at the size, there's only so many places you can reduce weight and size. They say it's a new cell chemistry. It definitely performs a little bit better, but in terms of that much size reduction, I would say the original 1300 6S does have a little higher capacity, but I have been charging these to like 4.2 volts. I haven't been up to 4.4 volts yet. Saving that for big races when I actually need it. So overall, just wrapping up, obviously I think this battery is awesome, but who is this battery for? So right now it comes in at about $38. So it is definitely a premium pack, but it's not like, I think the old R-Line 95C R-Lines were like $50 or something, or if you get the max amp batteries, it's like 120 bucks or something ridiculous. So 38 for a extremely well performing battery is definitely very competitively priced. And once again, I think these iFlight are like 32, the Pulse are like 32, TBS are like 30, China Hobbyline are like 31, 28, Pyro's like 32. So they're all around there within $5 or $10 per pack. But unless you are really pushing it in races and you're really noticing bad battery sag, I would not really say that these are going to be worth your time. If you want to get them, obviously they're, in my mind, the best battery you can get right now. However, for the general flyer, especially if you're a beginner intermediate, I would say sticking with some of the cheaper options is going to be a little bit better value for you, just because you can save a little bit of money. And if you buy 6 batteries, you can probably get a seventh one with the extra money you've saved on each of them. So I'm in no way saying these are not good value. I think they are, especially for racers at only 38 bucks. They're definitely an extremely nice pack. However, for general flyers, I don't think it's worth it, and you're going to notice. For example, this Tattu 1300 here, I think this is on sale or is just available. Maybe they're clearing out older stock since they're moving to the V3 now, but this is like $27 right now, which is one of the cheapest 6S packs out right now. And this thing performs amazing and has a ton of capacity for longer flight times. And if you're an intermediate or beginner flyer, that means a lot to you because you can practice that much longer. So that's pretty much going to do it. I flashed a bunch of flight footage around there, just flying these around. Not much else to say. It's kind of hard to review batteries outside of a bench scenario where you're pulling the exact same loads every time, but even then it's not real life, but then real life becomes even less repeatable, so it's just a really hard dynamic to test batteries. But I know a lot of top pilots who are really happy with this battery, and I'm also really happy with it. So that's going to be the end of the video. It's starting to rain outside, so there will be links in the description below if you're interested, as well as to my Nexus frame in the pod here and the build video I did for that. Really fantastic flying quad, my 2019 race setup. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Also, there's a link in the description to my Patreon if you wish to help support the channel. I'll be doing quad giveaways once we get enough support there. So yep, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.